Three, two, one, and we're back. Mrs. Mello.
Hello, Mr.
We
Mello.
sound really good today.
Ooh,
I know. What's up?
it's Friday,
TGIF.
and I have had the best week of sleep I've had in the last 5 years.
Wow.
I know.
That's a bold statement.
It's true. I mean, in a row.
Yeah.
Consecutive days in a row. And I was in such a rut. It could be me saying that because I was in such a horrible sleep rut,
Yeah.
too, for years.
Yeah.
And now, those last 5 days, whew, feel like $1,000,000.
Wow. I
Got a
love that.
sauna,
We got a sauna.
infrared, and
Is it the sauna? Did the sauna do it?
I think it's a sauna.
It might be the sauna.
So, but I can't tell you how sleep affects you positively and negatively. And right now, it's positive.
Oh, dude, it's game changer. You feel like a different person.
I haven't hit like a 4 o'clock lull. I don't have like even the cravings that I would. Like I felt like I was like wanting sugar or coffee and I haven't even been finishing my coffees like even close.
Yeah.
I just like I'm attracted to protein again right
Yep.
now. It's like almost something so simple in your life that you're like it's got to be something else, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's so important. I feel like I'm in my body. Like I know you and I have talked about this. Like a lot of times you go through the day, like you feel like you're out of body, like zzz, like almost like this like twilight zone, like you're just powering to get through. And now I feel like super present and pumped. I still was pumped, but it's just nice to feel energized.
Yeah.
And not having to like act like you're wearing a weight vest.
Totally. I really envision like sleep and all that stuff where it's like a battery charger and
Yeah.
you're at 58% or you're
That's a great way to say
96% or you're 22%. And are you in the green or the yellow or the red type of thing? And dude, when you have low sleep and you're in the red, man, it is a bear.
Bear.
Bear. Bear,
And
bear,
you're
bear.
barely surviving.
You're barely surviving, you're barely pushing through, and everything's a bear.
Even last night, Con got up and he like
235.
fell out of his
Oh, 235.
fell out of his bed, and I was like, "What's going on?" Like I was like sleeping hard, and then I was up, making sure he was okay, and then went right back to sleep. That
Beautiful.
never happens. Like if that would have happened before, no way. My mind starts going. I wouldn't have been able to sleep.
You know, it's funny you said that because when he did that too, and I was kind of and I was awake because he woke me up too, and I'm like, and I was awake for like a couple of minutes. I'm like, dang it, I don't know if I'm going to go back to sleep. I'm like, don't say that. Say that you're going back to sleep. So I was like, oh, am I going to go back to sleep or not?
I just remember your alarm went off, and I was like, "Thank God, it's not mine."
Yeah, yeah.
But then mine goes off like 10 minutes later.
Right.
It's still funny how
It's
your mind
clutch
plays
though.
tricks on you.
10, 15 minutes in the morning is clutch
Yeah.
when you wake up this early. But yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you're sleeping better.
You hit record on that, right? Okay.
We're good.
Last week we had a little mishap, which we talked about on the podcast. So I want to make sure before we get through
We
this.
are all systems are buzzing. I got my operations figured out right now. I think I got my checklist figured out. So I'll just check the boxes and everything works. I'm so in SOP mode right now.
What's going right this week?
What's going right this week is I am being really good at being patiently impatient, and it's such a tightrope balancing act of driving hard, but then understanding that it's going to take longer than you want. Because I think what happens is a lot of people, if they start to realize it's going to take too long, or they look up and it looks and feels like a mountain, that demotivates people, and they start to slow down, or they just throw in the towel and quit. But I'm doing a really good job of staying impatient, but still being patient. And so when things feel really big, like this is what I've been telling myself this week, is when I think of something that I need to do, I just do it. I'm just going boom. And it's working. And I'll find out that it's the big task is a lot smaller than I think. But then when I get to something that takes longer than I want, I just humble myself, take a breath, and then I file it for when I can do it again. And then I just keep moving versus taking too much time to break or taking too much time to get distracted or saying yes to things that will take me away from it too. But my non-negotiables every day are really helping a lot.
I love that.
And I mean, I'm batting like 95% right now with it. So it feels really good to check those lists off. And but I think for me, you're sleeping great. Now my sleep went a little south because I was sleeping great the last couple weeks, and this week's a little. It's not terrible, but it's not as great as yours is or what mine was last week too. But it doesn't even matter because I'm still feeling really good about what's going on.
That's great.
So
Well, let's get to the topic then.
do it. This is your topic. I'm
Thanks
gonna
for
let you
asking me
drive.
how I'm doing.
I thought I did. Didn't you?
Huh.
No, let's do it.
Oh,
What's,
did you?
you started.
Maybe you did ask.
Yeah. Well, let's do it again. What's going
No,
right?
yeah, I think you did because then I said about my sleep.
Right.
Go you scratching that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so basically, I had this podcast topic. This has been going on in my mind for probably the last 6 weeks. I heard a really good quote about how we need to live life as like little adventures in life or experiences instead of taking like the big trip. And what happens is we become routine humans. We feel like we're in Groundhog Day every day, and life can seem mundane, but then that makes it go by so fast because it is the same routine and habits. And that's why a lot of people are like, geez, it's been 3 years. How did I don't even think I did anything different. Nothing has changed. So how do we make it so that we can still work hard, be there for our families, have a good marriage, but feel like we're having little experiences? And for example, when you and I thought about this or heard this together, luckily we listened to the same things, we decided that night that we were going to create an experience by taking a little staycation on Black Friday. And we ended up having a wonderful time. Whereas in the past, we would have just hung out at home, gone to coffee.
Did the same old thing.
Did the same thing. Probably hit the parade, a friend's house to watch the parade downtown, which we have done for the last 4 years. Nothing wrong with the parade. But it just seems very monotonous. And because of our careers and because of having twins, I feel like a lot of our life has to be so routine and disciplined. So these little experiences or adventures can really throw you out of that and allow you a sense of freedom and growth within your family, your marriage, interpersonally. And so you and I were talking on this past date night, so I wanted to let people in and like how I'm tired and days just seem like long and hard
And heavy.
and then you get home and you're like trying to get your kids to eat and then play a little with them and then get them to bed and then try to remember all the 80 million other things that you need to do to make sure. And then on Monday I had a mom meltdown and I had forgotten to sign our children up for daycare for when they aren't in school for this winter break. And for any of you who know me, that's very unlike me. I'm usually like Johnny on the spot in advance with those things. In fact, so much that you were like, there's no way you didn't do it. You must have just forgot. And so I called and I didn't do it. And it was closed. And I had this such this feeling of like emptiness inside about how my priorities aren't straight and everything's moving too fast and it's so hard and I don't make these types of mistakes, and I really melted down. And I think because we are living so routine, what that tells me is you need to throw some sprinkle on that, right? You don't wait for Christmas to come. You don't wait for these things. You plan it, and then you do it as a family and you plan it, or you do it for yourself. Luckily, I have an amazing supportive husband that just planned a massage for me January 21st. Now that's another experience. And that helps us get out of our own way. It helps us from, quote unquote, I wouldn't say burnout because I don't necessarily believe in that, but running so hard instead of running so smart.
Well, I think it's more of living by default versus living by design.
And I know we need those moments because I had told a friend, they're like, oh, that happens all the time, trying to be nice and kind. And I said, it wasn't the fact that happened. It was the fact that I didn't feel like I am being 100% present as a mom.
Well,
it wasn't because I forgot to turn in the paper. It was everything's just intense and heavy. And I want days that in the summer, we've all had those days where you just leave on a Wednesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon, or maybe we don't all have them, but I'm lucky and privileged to have them and go to the lake or, And now I just feel like for a while we've just been hitting the pavement hard. So the mistake is always a blessing because it shows you where your priorities should lie and where they are lying, and then making those little adjustments because we're all different on how we tick. And for me, that was just a little adjustment or awareness that I needed to bring to the table of like what's really important right now, you know?
Definitely. I think it's a time it's a wake up call.
Yeah.
Again, out of the Groundhog Day. Sometimes something needs to happen to shake you and wake you up.
So it helped me recognize the rut, essentially, right?
Yeah,
And
because
yeah.
it's wild because, I mean, it's so easy to get comfortable in a routine. And it's so easy to go downstairs on the couch and just crush a show because it's easy and it's comfortable. And you want to just veg and chill and just, but then what happens is it gets too easy. And then what happens is you go one of two ways. You just submit and then you blink and it's 3, 4 years later, or you shake it up and you wake yourself up and then you open yourself up to new opportunities. And that's opportunities are everywhere all the time. It's a matter of everyone says it's luck and preparation equals opportunity. Yeah, sure. But opportunities are around us right now, always, and they have always been there. It's are we seeing the opportunities or are we not? And yes, that's where preparation and luck comes into play. But I don't think you're really lucky. I think you're just more ready. I think it's almost like preparation and game ready is
Yeah.
when opportunities are there.
I don't think Kobe Bryant was lucky.
Yeah, I mean, somebody posted
was
this.
ready.
Someone just finished the rowing challenge at the time of this recording. They hit 100,000, and there's still 4 days left, 5 days left, and they were super pumped. First time they've ever done it, and posted on Facebook, "Hey, I hit my 100,000, da da da," and I said, "Results don't happen on accident.
Exactly.
They don't." And so you have to fight for what you want. And a quote that I've read this year too that has stuck with me is you stop getting what you stop fighting for.
I like that.
And so it's like you have to fight for what you want or what you don't want will start to happen. And that's huge in life, huge. I mean, especially in any marriage, fitness, anything. You have to continue to fight for what you want or what you don't want just starts to happen because you live by default and life will keep passing you by. The time will tick, the calendar will keep moving, everybody's going to keep moving forward. It's are you going to allow your life to crush you or are you going to take life and live it by design? And everything worth it takes work. It really does.
It was fun on Sunday. You and I were looking through pictures of the boys. This was last Sunday, but from when they were infants on around my birthday every year. My birthday was on Sunday. And it was just so fun to see how they've grown and how they've evolved. And I will say how present you and I have been. I don't look at those pictures and be like, oh, I wish we could go back to that. I look at those pictures and I'm so happy that we got to experience that. And I think that's such a difference. And I know everybody says we're in the golden years now with 6-year-olds, and I do truly believe that. But I feel like I'm going to be in the golden years of 14-year-olds.
It's how you look at life is how you look at it.
And I want to create these experiences and these adventures and not just wait for time. Hey, we're going to wherever.
In 6 months.
Disneyland in April. You know, it's like, why do we have to do these huge things? Like for us, maybe being lucky, maybe not with 6-year-olds, the west side of Sioux Falls felt like Omaha. It felt like a new experience. They had never been to Cold Stone. They had never been to the movies over there. They had never been to Cafea. They had never, you know, all these things. And I think that's the problem with everything. And you and I preach that a lot, is like we underestimate simplicity.
Well, and I think a lot of it is you're trying to pay back all the guilt or the resentment that you haven't been doing. It builds, you know what I mean? So the longer you wait to do something about it, the bigger it has to be to rectify the past. When all you really have to do is just do the next thing. Plan the big thing, but like you said, don't wait. Plan the big thing and then have a checkpoint. Have a little pace breaker in life. Have the next thing that's closer in time. And it doesn't have to be big. I think it just has to be new, or it has to be something created. Has to be something spontaneous. It has to be everything that's the antithesis of routine or a rut or feeling burnout or feeling Groundhog Day. Whatever the opposite is, that's what it needs to be. And the sooner you can do it, just like any habit or action in life, the more effective it's going to be. And the sooner you do it, the least of the impact, the least of the amount it has to be, is the trick.
And this is the perfect time of year to do it, being that it's 2025 and we're in a new year and you can see new vision. And that is on your, I call it like reticular activation, that is on your brain about what can I do this year to make this a better year than last year, like self-reflection. And even just having my sister come at the end of December, it was so good for me because I would typically on a Sunday, I would have worked while you and the boys were gone, or I would have done things around the house
To catch up, to stay ahead.
And she took me out of that and we got to go shop for the boys for Christmas and we went to the mall and we grabbed coffee and it was so fulfilling. But I needed that balance. I needed her to help me. Or we went out
People need people.
on a Monday. She and I went to happy hour and she was even messing with me. I thought you don't drink on Mondays. I said, I won't drink Tuesday and Thursday to make up for, just like, it was cute. We were having fun, but it was just something different that we never do. And it was an experience that helped me grow and learn in the simple fact that I think so many of us are attached to, like you said, attached to that comfort. And so when you take yourself out of that, you're like, that wasn't so bad. That was fun. And all these things that I tell myself that are going to happen, like, oh, if you don't work late on a Monday, it's going to go downhill. Then you're not going to work late on a Tuesday, and then you're going to be sitting at home on Wednesday. It sounds so ridiculous when you say it out loud, but we all do this internally. It seems so real and big.
Which is why you got to say it out loud.
Exactly. So I feel like now you can really see, like, where do I want to prioritize things? And get your family involved. Like, ask your kids, what is something fun that you want to do as a family? And it could be simply like, we're going to pick up skiing this winter.
Something new.
Chris and I aren't probably going to ski with them.
I'm not skiing.
But we're going to go out there and experience something that
And champion the cause.
I haven't done since I was, 22 was the last time you and I went skiing. And maybe I'll get inspired to do that. But if anything, I'll get inspired to just be in a new place, new surroundings, and new vision on a Saturday. Or, hey, even better yet, maybe we pull the kids at 2 o'clock on a Thursday one time from school, or whenever they get out, 3 o'clock, and go to Great Bear. And those types of things really help you grow internally, and then it keeps you cleaving with your whole family as an experience, which ultimately makes you want to grow and get better.
Change equals growth. We continue to talk about this. So the less you change, the less you grow. And if it's too much to change, just do a little change. Like auto-regulate what needs to happen right now. Mm-hmm. And don't let too big a change paralyze you and make you slow down or stop. And just do the little thing. We were talking about this week at the gym where we see people walk by the gym. It's in a retail area all the time, and they look at the gym, and they continue to walk by and never come in. And I was talking about this with a member at the gym. All they need to do is just walk in.
I know.
And if it's too big of a change, then dial down what needs to happen to just make the next step for the change. And I was telling her, I was like, honestly, all someone has to do is walk in here and go on the treadmill at 3.0 speed and 3.0 incline and just walk for 10 minutes. All that would do would be break the ice, would break the seal in that hardwired routine that is handcuffing them to do anything new, to add any change, to make any kind of growth at all. It's just do the little stuff.
And it makes you so proud of yourself.
You're so proud of yourself.
I am one to be very locked in with routine. And it's hard for me to get out of that. And I'll make positive things that matter to me that are priorities. I'll change this. If the schedule changes, I'll accommodate for those things because they're so important for me.
Like the massage?
I meant more like working out.
Yeah,
I'll get up.
I meant for the 21st.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll have to, right?
Yeah.
Because you did it for me, which is another great thing. But I lost my train of thought on that now.
Sorry
But
about that.
no, it's okay. But what I was gonna say is when you do those things that takes you out of your box, it allows you then to let your guard down a little bit and be a little bit more vulnerable. Like we got a sauna in our house, infrared sauna, and it's changed up our nightly routine, and I'm having a really hard time with it. The first night, my sister got in with Jackson, and then Chris got in with Con, just like for 5 minutes, and they were hanging out in there. We were having fun, and I didn't get in because I didn't want to break my routine. And then the next night I did, and I loved it, and it was great. And then I knew already I wasn't going to do this every day, because what I'm trying to do is not make this like you have to do this every day. And I think if you can just give yourself some grace and just roll with the punches, and knowing, i.e., the gym or your marriage or your family, like giving a little grace to be like, okay, I'm not going to be so hardwired to say I'm doing this every day for the next 75 days, whatever it is, but just being like, I'm going to do this because it's going to make me better long term.
I think the point with that too is people have to realize too, if you don't get everything that you set you're going to do, it doesn't count.
Exactly.
And I think the thing with your sauna story and all these other examples that we can think of with others is everything counts.
But what was really cool from it is last night I went in and I got out of the boys' room first. So I hopped right in there. And for 10 minutes I was in there, and I had the most meditative, calming experience. And then you came in and you wanted to like talk, and you were really kind. But what I learned from that experience, which I never would have, you can't be in there with me.
I did too.
And it was so cool because inside, I love you so much. I don't want to let you down. So I don't want to tell you, I don't want you in here, which I wouldn't say, I don't want you in here, but it would just be like, I didn't want to ask for that space because it's his time. And then he really wants to do this together, but I don't want to do this because I have had a long day where I've talked all day. And now I know, because I did take that, if that's the only 10 minutes that I get, it changed the whole what's the word called? The whole like routine of the night for the better. Had I thought, I got to stay in here for the next 30 minutes and we got to talk
Treat it like
and
the
we got to
workout.
do this, I would have not had that blissful 10 minutes, because the 30 would have now overtaken the 10.
Because it would have been the same routine.
But since I just let that go
And let it flow.
and leave, it became blissful. And now what happens? I want to do it again.
And this is
I
what I
want to
did.
do it tomorrow.
I filed it and said, first 10 minutes is hers. Maybe 12 minutes. Everybody needs alone time, but everybody needs people at the same time. And so it's a balancing act, just like impatiently being impatient or patiently being impatient. It's, you got to find the sweet spot. The individualization for you with the new sauna routine and creating a flow versus something too hardcore is the key for this next growth piece. And it's like that in life with everything.
And I think I'm learning that through age and experiences, that it's just the habit. It's just doing those little things and then sprinkling, like we said, little adventures through life. I look at my grandparents. My grandma's been here for the last 3 months, and she's so wonderful. She's 88, and she talks when we have these like beautiful conversations. And it's honestly the experiences that she and I shared from the time I was 4 years old to the time I was 43 years old that we both cherish and remember. It's not the trip to Norway. It's not that, these, which I'm sure she enjoyed, but it was like us singing songs on the way from Sioux Falls to the lake with letters of the alphabet. It was, she used to make me little lunch bags, and every time we saw a red truck, I got to open another gift. Once we passed North Dakota, I got to open a little gift. And they were fun. It was like gum and water and granola bar, whatever it was the fact and the experience that we shared together.
It was the presence.
And I think that's what's lacking now, is we're all so busy. Everything's moving so fast. And we forget the simplicity of experiencing these things and being present and having grounded gratitude, being where you're at and being thankful for it.
And that's happened to me this week. I posted a story on Insta. one of my favorite things to do in the world ever is take the boys to school. More so than even picking them up, but I love taking the boys to school. It's so normal, it's so free. It's we are exactly who we are on the ride to school.
You used to talk about it before they were born, which is fun.
Yeah. I always joked around that I was going to be the embarrassing dad that would
Yeah.
wear the tuxedo shirt and just carpool everybody.
Put a red carpet
And it
out.
wouldn't even be carpool. I would drive everyone all the time. I wouldn't even share carpool because I want to drive every day. And so the boys were telling me this random story about how they get computers in second grade. I'm like, awesome. What do you get in first grade? He's like, I think we get iPads. I was like, dude, I love second grade. I loved Mrs. Kaswani. I'll never forget it. And I said that their grandma, my mom, favorite teacher was Mrs. Kaswani. And every Friday, if you earned enough points at school, you go to Dinosaur Club. And they're like, Dad, I want to go to Dinosaur Club with you. And then all of a sudden, Connor just says out of nowhere, Dad, if we were in second grade together, we would be best friends. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, dude. But that's a moment.
It is.
And it's just, you are who you are, and nothing is, there's no restriction. You're literally like floating during the day. And I mean, like, that's what counts. There's no distraction. There's no guilt. There's no shame. There's no insecurity. It's just be who you are, and that's who you are. And just let yourself just feel and flow and then just go. And so I've been thinking about what's the 10.0 version of myself, or what's the 10.0 version of a client, or what's the 10.0 version of our marriage. And so I'm working on capturing the best things that happen every single day because I started doing the 5-minute journal again, and that's been very helpful. But like taking the boys to school is a piece of a 10.0 version of a day of myself. Giving you the first 10 minutes of the sauna by yourself is the 10.0 version of a day. So I'm piecing together like the perfect day formula by just capturing the moments that are just totally free, totally flow, and then creating the day, and then figuring out how to recreate the day and duplicate the day. That's such a high C way of doing it too, but that's how my brain thinks. And if it works, keep working it too. Like the workout or whatever. You wake up in the morning and you're tired and you're sore, you didn't sleep that great. And how are you going to get the job done? I think this is my job. I have to get my 45 minutes in the morning. It's my alone time. It's the time. It charges me up. Even when I'm feeling terrible, after I do it, I feel incredible. But how do you do it when you don't want to do it? Or if it feels too routine, or if it's too much of the same thing? And I think about the feeling when I'm done. I'm not thinking about how I feel in the moment. I use the feeling afterwards to remember to get me to do it no matter what. And then I get that feeling at the end, and that's what brings me back the next day, if and when I don't want to do it. And that's the true definition of motivation, is after the act. People get it twisted because they're trying to get motivated to act when they don't want to. You got to do the act, get the memory to remember what you need to do and feel so that you get yourself to do it again. And
I even think in the summer we don't have the opportunity to do that right now. But you will, even like for Groundhog Day instance, you'll go to the gym and you will do like the Stairmaster and be around people one day.
yeah,
And
Monday,
then
Wednesday, Friday.
in the summer you'll take a bike outside, even in our backyard, and you'll do it outside or with the boys playing, and these moments of sprinkling, so you're not creating that same mundane routine
Add some variance.
life. I like to, and you and I both are in agreement on this, is we plan out the year. And then we see where the holes are. And then we're able to sprinkle in little fun things. That's how we learned this year about like going skiing. And then we have a February trip. And then you learn that we needed to do like another little up and back. Do we do a staycation? That's how we found that in November. So all these little things have now led up and literally might be even cost less than the one big trip. And I feel so much more fulfilled because there's always something on the calendar to look forward to.
Well, everything you
and
plan
it's
ahead
not
will cost less. Yeah.
stressful
Yeah.
for us where we're at right now. We'll get there. We'll get the big trip one year with the boys and when we're all ready. But where we're at now, be honest with yourself. Where are you now? And what can you do to enhance the experience?
Absolutely.
And so that's where I say putting things on paper makes things happen. If you write your workouts down and you show up to a gym, it's going to happen.
The things that get scheduled are the things that get done.
Mm-hmm.
The things that get written down are the things that get remembered. And I always say, I'm writing things down not to remember it. I'm writing things down so that I can forget it. Because if you write it down, you never have to worry about it. You always come back to it to remind you, to remember the feeling, to get you to act in the moment that you don't want to in the beginning.
Another great thing to do is reflecting on the past. So now with 2024, take out your old calendar or look at your phone and see what went right. Look at all the fun things that you did, all the experiences. And if there's none, make sure you change it.
Pick the one thing, the
Pick
next
three
thing.
experiences in 2025 that you want to do. It could simply be like us taking the boys to the rock climbing place, or anything that you want. Or you could go to Turks and Caicos if that's what you want to do. But just look and reflect from last year on what went right, where were the moments that broke up the groundhog and monotony, and how do you create more of that in 2025?
The thing about opportunity is everywhere. And you see the opportunity when you're ready. So the power of writing something down, you're putting it in your conscious and your subconscious. And what happens is because it's there, now you see the next opportunity because you wrote it down and you're continuing to remind yourself. And then all of a sudden you have it.
Exactly.
It's wild. And then you wonder why, like, wow, I wrote this down. It really came true. It's because you saw it, because you hacked your brain and your heart to remind yourself. And then all of a sudden, when it presents itself, you see it. Versus if you didn't write it down, a lot of times you wouldn't see it because you never did before.
So what's a fun experience that you want to, or adventure that you want to accomplish in 2025?
I want to meet my mentor.
Ooh.
Yeah, buddy.
I love that.
He lives in Canada.
On a private plane?
Let's do it.
Okay. That's what I would like.
I'm just writing it down because it will figure out how to, life will figure out how to make that happen because the opportunities there everywhere. And so that's my goal this year.
I want to pick up my kids at 3 o'clock on Fridays. That's a big goal of mine.
Ooh, that's a great goal. And that's very realistic.
And honestly, guys, it's not going to happen every Friday. So I will say once a month, I want to pick them up and I want to create an experience with us. I'm the mom.
Every time you do, it's a PR.
I'm the mom that is the mom that likes to go places. So I grab them and we do something fun and we get out and it could be anywhere. If I do that once a month for 365 days or 2025, whatever, I will have at least 12 experiences one-on-one with, or two-on-one with them that I'll never get back. And it's going to be so special and so awesome. And so that's where I want you guys to really hone in and see what's the big thing, the private plane and the mentor, and what's a small thing. Mm-hmm. That's really, because ultimately, yeah, I'll remember the plane and the mentor, but I'll far more remember.
Because the frequency too,
the once
you'll have a
a
lot more remembering habits.
And now you get excited,
Yeah.
and then you get to plan,
And then you get focused.
and then they get excited for it.
And then there's hype, positive hype.
Because it's not the Groundhog Day
And then it's
Monday
momentum.
routine.
And then it's momentum. Yeah. When I'm the dad that I just pick them up and we go to the park and run around, then we come home and we wrestle.
Mm-hmm. So that's like such a good point, guys, is make it big, make it small, and make it happen.
And make it all.
Peace
Love.
and fitness.
Yeah, buddy.